In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin Satoshi vision. Now, this one is going to be a very controversial topic, so I really recommend you guys to grab some coffee, grab some water, and sit back because we are definitely going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So I go by the name of Muna, and welcome to Beyond 10x, where we get to talk about cryptocurrency related material. So if you guys are new to the channel, please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and smash the like button because it does help me get a little bit of recognition here on YouTube, especially when it comes to making love to the YouTube algorithm. So I hope you guys are going to be watching this video with an open mind because it's going to be a very controversial topic, just like I told you, because we are going to be dealing with Bitcoin Satoshi vision. Now, a lot of people are very skeptical when it comes to Craig Wright because Craig Wright happens to be a very controversial individual. A lot of people don't really like his guts because he just talks too much. But one thing that you can't really take from Craig Wright is he is one bloody investor, and he's a very smart person. So we are going to be talking about that as well. And if we look at the current market cap right now, we are slightly above 107 billion US dollars, and right now everything is pretty much red. We are in the double digit red. Right now the price of Bitcoin is about 3,405 US dollars and XRP is about 30 cents. And right now everything is pretty much down. The price of Ethereum has drastically dropped to about 85 US dollars. Man. I remember when the price of Ethereum was about 1,200, and now you guys have got like a better opportunity to invest in Ethereum. But for me, I'm definitely going to wait for it to drop as low as 30 US dollars. Then I might think about investing in Ethereum. And surprise, Bitcoin Satoshi vision is actually sitting on the 5th spot when it comes to the coin market cap because it has been drastically increasing in value. And right now the current price of Bitcoin Satoshi vision is about 109 US dollars. Now, a lot of people are saying that the price is obviously being manipulated by a lot of different cryptocurrency exchanges, but I really beg to differ because a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges don't really love Bitcoin Satoshi vision. A lot of them actually prefer Bitcoin Cash, which is the Bitcoin ABC. So we are going to be doing a lot of comparison, and we are also going to be talking about the fundamental differences between Bitcoin ABC, which is apparently holding the Bitcoin Cash ticker, and we are also going to be talking about the real Bitcoin, like which one is the real Bitcoin, because there's actually a lot of misconception as with regards to which one is the original Bitcoin blockchain, because there's obviously been a lot of things which have been changed here and there due to the fact that a lot of new layers, a lot of new protocols were actually added to these blockchains. So as time goes on by, there's obviously going to be a change in what was the original intention of Satoshi Nakamoto, who happens to be the originator or the creator of Bitcoin. But I really think that there isn't just one particular entity or person who's responsible for the whole Bitcoin blockchain. I think it was just like a bunch of guys, a bunch of nerds, a bunch of tech guys who were talking about the future and futurism and how people are going to take care of their finances. And they obviously stumbled across the Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and that's how the whole thing is. That's how the whole thing pretty much started. So I don't really think Satoshi Nakamoto was the only person who created this, if you know what I mean. So anyway, first of all, the first topic that I would love you guys to think about is, what's the origin of Bitcoin? Like, does it even matter? If, for example, Satoshi Nakamoto intended the Bitcoin blockchain to be in a certain way, do you find it offensive if it has been altered in a different way? Let's say, for example, in today's Bitcoin version, right? Would you be offended if what Satoshi Nakamoto, or the entities that created the Bitcoin blockchain, do you think it's really offensive that it has been altered and it has just generally gone in a different direction as opposed to the direction that the original creators wanted it to go to? So if you if you guys are bothered about that, please let me know in the comment section below. So anyway, a lot of people who happen to be very, very smart, and when I talk about smart people, right, I'm talking about the developers and the people who are actually in front, people who pretty much get to like push these innovations, you know. And a lot of people really listen to retail investors, because by the end of the day, people who are going to bring about change in any particular aspect of technology are obviously the developers. So one thing that I can really advise you to do, especially during a bear market, is you have to follow either the developers or people who are responsible for making, or rather for making the technology progress. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, people who are investing in startups, like, for example, the people who saw the value of Facebook when it was like really in its beginning phases. Those are the people that you're supposed to be, you know, looking at exactly what they're doing, because wherever these people are going to be going, that's where the value is going to be going. So guys, please do not follow the prices. Follow where the value is going, because when you follow where the value is going, you're always going to be benefiting. Like, for example, during the Bitcoin crash of about 2011, right? Ethereum, the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, right? He stopped writing for the, you know, that magazine or that blog or whatever, that forum, and he decided to like, you know, make Ethereum. So if you guys had followed Vitalik Buterin, then you would have obviously discovered Ethereum, and you would have obviously multiplied your net worth by a whole lot by the end of the day. So it's very important for us to always monitor the developers, people who've got talent, people who've got the ability to influence and make certain changes to the blockchain. You get what I'm saying, right? If we follow these people, we are definitely going to find exactly where the value is going to be at. And whenever we're going to be finding where the value is going to be located, we are definitely going to be, you know, financially sound, if I can put it that way. But it's all about the technology, said no one. So I've been following a lot of people who happen to be active developers on the blockchain, you know, the Bitcoin blockchain, and these people have done quite a lot of stuff. So I'm not really just talking about people who are just, you know, not doing any research and just talking about stuff because they read an article. I'm talking about the people who are actively developing on these blockchains, people who've got the experience, people who are seeing what's really happening behind the scenes. Because by the end of the day, a lot of YouTubers, including myself, we don't really know exactly anything about coding, if you know what I mean. Like, we don't really know how these things work. We're just going wherever the wind blows, if you get what I'm trying to say. So pretty much we're going to be looking at this article, which was properly written by a very important guy who was part of the Bitcoin Cash, because a lot of developers are actually saying that the original Bitcoin, like the Bitcoin which a lot of people, the BTC Bitcoin is not really the original Bitcoin, because it has evolved into something else. For example, a lot of people are saying that there's going to be mass adoption because the Lightning Network is going to be implemented on the Bitcoin blockchain. But a lot of people are saying that the Lightning Network is not really going to be the solution, because it's going to be bringing a lot of security issues, especially to the blockchain. So it's not really going to be a scalability solution, if you put it that way. And the original Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto and the various entities that created Bitcoin blockchain really said that Bitcoin can infinitely scale to whatever amount, and it can pretty much scale to anything. So it doesn't have like any scalability limitations at all. So this is why we actually experienced Bitcoin Cash forking from the Bitcoin, because they really wanted to like get back to the original vision that Satoshi Nakamoto had. But of course they had a lot of disputes amongst each other, and they decided to break apart. Craig Wright, Kelvin, the billionaire, the CoinGate guy, he started supporting Craig Wright, and they decided to like make Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, which is apparently going to be able to infinitely scale and just bring a whole lot of stuff, because they are apparently following exactly what was written in the Bitcoin original white paper, and they are not really going to alter anything. So pretty much we're going to be reading an article which is going to break down everything that has been happening and why a lot of individuals who happen to have these extremely exclusive skills, who happen to have developing skills, and we are going to be looking at the reasons why they are choosing to develop their applications, their programs on the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, because they've got like different ethics, and they are obviously very, very capable of showcasing whatever they can do, and they are choosing Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. So we're just going to be looking at the analogy and their reasons as to why they are trying to do that, because we're trying to follow where the value is, because following where the value is, that's ultimately going to be making us money. And how can you determine where the value is? You're just supposed to do that by simply following the people who are responsible for bringing this technology to another level. That is obviously the developers and the people who are going to be making this technology very accessible to a lot of people, because mainstream adoption is not really going to come about from ETFs. A lot of people are waiting for ETFs, but trust me, ETFs are not really going to solve anything. They're not really going to bring about mass adoption if the blockchain technology is going to be worthless in terms of providing value. Like for example, Facebook solves communication. It brings about the ease of communication. You're able to connect with people, you're able to connect with family, you're able to interact. So that's value right over there. So regardless of how many ETFs are going to be added, if blockchain technology is not really going to be creating badass apps, if they're not going to be solving any problems, we're not going to go anywhere. So just stop it with the ETFs. It's not really going to bring about any adoption. So we really need apps to be created. We really need solutions for a lot of things. We really need to have like that genuine value, which is really going to improve the lives of people. That's where the massive adoption is going to come from. So developers are the only people who are going to be able to like help us do this. So anyway, without further ado, I hope you guys are sipping your coffee, because just like I told you, this is going to be a very, very long video. So let's get down to the article, and I really want you guys to like check out this particular article. It's actually written by a writer. This guy has got a lot of talent. He's developed about 2 very important programs, and he's going to be explaining to us why he's choosing to be developing on the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision blockchain as opposed to Bitcoin Cash, which is Bitcoin ABC, and the BTC Bitcoin allegedly original chain. So yeah, you guys can check out the link in the description in case you need to go deeper. So the article is entitled the resolution of the Bitcoin Cash experiment. So Bitcoin ABC was so afraid of an imaginary attack from the Satoshi Vision that they made all kinds of mistakes, writing permanent code in rapid fire releases to the point where what they stand for is no longer recognizable. So just like this guy is saying, Bitcoin ABC has done, or rather they have implemented a lot of codes, and they are having a blockchain which is different from their initial motive, if I can put it that way. So they have pretty much scrambled up everything. So and this ABC's self-inflicted scars that will forever exist immutably on the blockchain has led to a blockchain I can no longer build on. Okay, he is a developer, and due to the fact that Bitcoin ABC altered their code and they have brought permanent scars to their blockchain, he's no longer going to be able to build on that particular platform. And he is not the only developer who's having this motive. He's not the only one who's thinking like this. There's other people out there, there's other talented developers out there who are having the same notion. So that's very important, because remember what I told you guys about value and going where the developers are going? these guys are no longer going to be using the Bitcoin ABC chain to do their development. So he's obviously given us his social proof right over here. So he's saying who is a writer. First, some background. Here's who I am. So if you guys really want to like dive deep into this guy, you can obviously do your own research. So I work on 2 useful infrastructure projects on Bitcoin Cash ecosystem. BitDB, decentralized database for Bitcoin, BitSocket, real-time message bus for Bitcoin, BitSocket. So if you guys really want to like dive deep, you can obviously use GitHub and just try to do a little bit of research on these, infrastructure projects. So apparently this guy is actually the one who actually developed these types of projects. So you better check that out as well. So let me just skip over this. So lastly, I am expressing myself here not as a follower but as a chooser. I am choosing the blockchain I choose. I only pick the most superior blockchain because my projects deserve better. Okay, so this guy is clearly not a follower. He is not one of those people who mostly follow the prices and what the herd is doing. This guy is actually developing his own stuff, and he is clearly thinking about the future, and he's making his own decisions based on, the situations, or rather based on the conditions that are really going to be suitable for his work in the future, because he's thinking about the future as well. So he's talking about his credibility here. So the importance of capitalism in Bitcoin. So he just gets to explain exactly how capitalism helps Bitcoin and how this really, makes Bitcoin what it is. So let's just briefly look at this. So let me tell you guys a secret. Many of you have it completely backwards. Now he's talking to the developers. You, the developer, are the emperors of Bitcoin, not the retail investors, not anybody who's screaming Lambo, Moon Lambo, and all that stuff. The most important people in terms of blockchain are the developers, because they are the emperors of Bitcoin and what it has to offer. So think of Bitcoin as a nation. You are the capitalists who build the wealth of the nation, which happens to be Bitcoin. Without you, the ones who create capital out of labor to increase the wealth of the nation of Bitcoin, there is no value in Bitcoin, because the wealth of Bitcoin as a nation comes from the utility you generate by building. It doesn't come from speculating. Stop thinking like a follower and start thinking like a leader. Don't play the herd game. You are your own man. It's not about which chain to follow. It's about which chain you choose. There's a huge difference. The blockchain is the seller and you are the buyer. You have all the power in the world to choose, not follow. Dwell on this for a very long time as you can. So pretty much he's trying to let the other developers know that it's all about the best blockchain, which is going to provide the best conditions for them to build on that particular blockchain. So it's not really about following where the hype is, where all the speculators are, because by the end of the day, the only people who provide value are the developers. So now let's just scroll down. The application developers are the capitalists of the nation of Bitcoin, and they are the ones who determine the wealth of the nation. Wise capitalists don't follow the herd. They notice opportunities and act on them. I have been saying this, that Bitcoin needs to attract application developers, and the only way to do so is by signaling dedication to scalability, stability, and openness instead of adding some new feature from the beginning. Okay, so those are very important aspects: scalability, stability, and openness. Decentralization. Okay, so let's go down. So is Bitcoin Cash the real Bitcoin? So now we are getting into the debate of which one happens to be the real Bitcoin, because these Bitcoin Cash guys were saying, the current Bitcoin is not really the original Bitcoin, and then they decided to fork and have Bitcoin Cash, and then afterwards Craig Wright was like, hell no, what are we evolving into? We are doing something which we were against. So they decided to like fork out of Bitcoin Cash, hence Bitcoin Satoshi vision. So there is something very wrong with the Bitcoin Cash ABC and its community today. there is too much misinformation out there, and people seem to be willing to believe anything if it comes from some influencer guy who they see as respected by the community, even when they have no idea why they are respected by the community in the first place. Okay, this is very important because this guy is actually dealing with the code. He's actually developing. He's not just like any other regular Joe Schmo. This guy actually knows what he's talking about. So in this article, he's going to be explaining why Bitcoin ABC, aka Bitcoin Cash, has irreversibly turned itself into 5 things. Bitcoin Cash has been censored. It's become centralized. It's very unstable. It has made other things dead, like for example the death of permissionless innovation. And we need innovators to just build. We need developers to just like simply build and be creative and just do things to make the blockchain world a better place. We don't really need developers to like stand in a line then ask for the necessary permission to start developing. Developers just need to like simply create and just develop stuff. Okay, and then Bitcoin Cash happens to be anti Bitcoin maximalist. So he goes deep in here and he talks about exactly why Bitcoin Cash is very censorable, and due to the fact that blockchain is all about decentralization and giving power back to the people, right? He's saying that the manner in which the centralized checkpointing was executed throughout the world should be a serious risk to any developer considering building on top of Bitcoin ABC. So if you guys really want to like dive deep, the article is going to be linked in the description box, so you guys can actually go into every detail where he explains why everything is wrong with Bitcoin ABC, aka Bitcoin Cash. But the most important thing that I really wanted to talk about is obviously this part right over here, where he gets to talk about why Bitcoin Satoshi vision is the real Bitcoin. But he didn't really jump into the code and all that stuff, but obviously he knows better. He was able to like compare the code from way back, and he was able to like make his own, he was able to like draw his own conclusion, if I can put it that way. So at this point, I'm sure I don't really have to clarify what I mean by Bitcoin, but here you go. So Bitcoin Satoshi vision is the real Bitcoin. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Bitcoin works, and I choose to build everything on top of Bitcoin. I feel 100% safe operating on Satoshi vision because the protocol hasn't changed at all. There has been no behind the doors centralized collusion, and it's only Bitcoin, and it's the only Bitcoin fork that is simultaneously number one, still running on pure proof of work, intends to scale infinitely, has no intention to mess with the protocol, welcomes Bitcoin maximalist. So according to these few points, this is actually one of the reasons why he really thinks that Bitcoin Satoshi vision is actually the real Bitcoin, because there hasn't been any protocol which has been changed. The thing about these other Bitcoins is that there has been a lot of different changes in the protocol. So like it sort of changes up everything and it dilutes everything, if I can put it that way. But according to this developer, he's saying that Bitcoin Satoshi vision happens to be the purest form of Bitcoin Satoshi, which was created by Satoshi Nakamoto. So this is why he actually chooses to build on top of the Bitcoin Satoshi vision, because he's feeling like this is where his value is going to be mostly appreciated, if I can put it that way. So this is just what I really wanted to like talk to you guys about. So I don't know, maybe in the next 2 years we're going to see a really sudden change in the cryptocurrency market, where the Bitcoin Satoshi vision might be the top cryptocurrency out there. So it's all about adoption. It's all about going where the value is, and we can only do that by seeing where the developers are going to be building, because these are the people who are going to bring about mass adoption. Because without creators, without these developers building stuff, we're not really going to go anywhere. Just like I told you, an ETF is not really going to do anything. It's not really going to solve anything. So I don't know, please let me know what Bitcoin do you think is the best Bitcoin? Is it, what Bitcoin is the original Bitcoin? Let's say, for example, Bitcoin has undergone several changes in terms of protocol. Does it still remain the purest form of Bitcoin? Does it really matter to you as a retail investor? And yeah, just let me know what you think about Satoshi Vision and why has it been constantly gaining value. So in terms of investing in Satoshi Vision, I think I'm really going to take my time, because I just don't really want to jump the gun and just start investing, because I really want to like see where these people are going to be going. I'm obviously going to be monitoring the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, and I'm going to be seeing the different of apps which are going to be created there, because by the end of the day, it's not all about speculating, it's about providing real value. So we're supposed to be monitoring what's going to be happening on the GitHub, and just see exactly which blockchain is going to be having the most creativity in terms of creation. And yeah, as far as other people with a lot of money are concerned, aka the miners, they're obviously going to be flocking to the most profitable cryptocurrency to mine. There's obviously going to be like a shift in hash power. So the hash power is obviously going to go to whatever blockchain is going to be profitable to mine. So I don't really care about the hash wars and all that stuff, because eventually the coin, which is the blockchain which is going to provide the most value, is going to be the one which is going to be seen as profitable by a lot of miners. So that's just my unfiltered those are my unfiltered thoughts. So please let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Obviously I didn't get everything right, and I'm so sorry that this particular episode wasn't really edited in a manner where everything was going to be understood. So if you guys really made it to this particular section of the video, please give a round of applause for you guys, because you've got a very good attention span, and a lot of people don't really like watching a whole lot of long stuff. So yeah, thank you, and please let me know in the comment section below, how have you been surviving the cryptocurrency bear market? What have you guys been doing? Have you guys been eating noodles and all that stuff? So please let me know in the comment section. I go by the name of Muna, that's M-U-N-A, and welcome to the family. Please hit the subscribe button, and we are going to be diving deep when it comes to this cryptocurrency related material. So I'm going to talk to you guys, especially I'm going to be talking to you guys tomorrow. So take care, be good, stay profitable, and God bless you.
Says she wanna rock with a nigga like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with a nigga like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with a nigga like me.